Hello, everybody. I love my grandmother. When I think of her, I think of her kindness, her beauty, and the mink coat she always wore. We all have memories that are attached to people we love. Does that vase your mother used to use remind you of her? When my grandmother passed away, she left me that mink coat and the memories attached to it. Each time I wear this coat, it reminds me of my beloved grandmother and brings happiness to me. I'm recycling my grandmother's vintage fur. Looking at it from a green standpoint, fur should be morally acceptable. We've all heard of animals turning on animals to the extreme. In Great Britain, they are trying to use population control of their minks in order to readdress dwindling populations of birds and water vole that they think the minks are disseminating. Farmers and landowners hunt beavers in this country because of the extensive beaver dam damage that can be occurred. The deer population will be at explosive numbers were it not for deer hunting. Since these animals are killed to not overpopulate the environment, it is morally okay to take their furs. The goal is to maintain long-term ecological balance. We are living in the modern world, so we have a responsibility to protect the wilderness areas that provide these valuable resources. Fur is a natural, renewable, and sustainable resource. This means people that get the fur only use part of what nature produces each year without depleting wildlife populations or damage the natural habitats that sustain them. Worldwide, the fur industry is an excellent example of an industry based on sustainable use. I'm sure you hear almost every day of another species becoming threatened or endangered. We have a responsibility to protect the wilderness areas that provide these valuable resources. Modern conservationists define this as the sustainable use of renewable resources. There are strict government regulations that ensure quotas and seasons are respected. I'm sure you hear almost every day of another species becoming threatened or endangered. All the furs that are used by the trade are abundant and absolutely no endangered species are used. This is made sure by strict state, national, and international regulations. The trade, government, wildlife officials, and biologists ensure responsible use by establishing, controlling, hunting, and trapping, licensing, and training courses for trappers. There are strict government regulations to ensure the quotas and seasons are respected. Each of us, as responsible citizens, should be concerned about environmental pollution. According to furisgreen.com, fake fur and most synthetics are made from petrochemicals. Like other plastics, these materials do not break down easily and remain in landfills for centuries. Real fur is actually an organic material. The dressing process, which is the tanning process, helps to preserve the pellets for some time. After many years of use, they will eventually dry out and begin to deteriorate, returning to the nature. Old fur apparel can be composted for your garden. I'm sure everyone enjoys being able to wear an item for many years and not have to get rid of it, especially when it doesn't go out of style. Fur is long-lasting and naturally resilient. If a fur garment is well cared for, it will remain functional and beautiful for many years, much longer than any other clothing material. In fact, fur coats are one of the few clothing items that are often passed down and used by 2 or even 3 generations. Unlike any other textiles, fur garments can be recut and restyled as fashion changes. Your old fur can even be recycled to make bags, pillows, throws, or other home accessories. At a time the true ecological cost of cheap mass-produced is just beginning to be recalculated, thanks to millions of tons of poor-quality fabrics and short-life garments filling up in landfills. The naturally durable and recyclable qualities of fur make more sense than ever. In North America, about 95% of the people eat and wear products from different animals. Around the world, animals are used in many ways. For food, clothing, companionship, medical and scientific research, entertainment, and transport. Animal welfare is a top priority for the people working in the fur industry, because when animals provide a wide range of products and services, the fur farmers have a responsibility to ensure the highest standards of care and prevent unnecessary suffering. The fur trade accounts for about 1/4 of the animals we use for food, clothing, and other purposes each year. About twice as many unwanted pets are put down in humane shelters than animals that are killed for fur, and yet we do not see pet stores being boycotted. A lot of people would expect that nature is the most humane way for animals to die, but in reality that is not the case. Without human involvement, wildlife can be overpopulated with abundant amounts of disease and starvation. This is natural but is hardly humane. Using modern methods, trappers can help to maintain more stable and healthy wildlife populations. It is true that nature has its own way of controlling wildlife populations, but these ways are usually much less humane than modern trapping methods. For example, overpopulated coyotes and foxes are susceptible to sarcoptic mange. Animals that are infected with these mites will scratch themselves raw for weeks before dying. It is definitely natural, but it is also a slow and painful death. An example of the fur trade's commitment to responsible practices is the Agreement on International Humane Trapping Standards. Pioneering research coordinated by the Fur Institute of Canada provided the scientific basis for these standards, which are now being adopted by all major fur-producing nations and the European Union. These standards have been set to protect animals trapped for any reason, including pest and disease control. Jointly funded by the Canadian government and the International Fur Trade Federation, this important program ensures that animal welfare priorities are addressed. They have contributed more than $18 million in recent years to research and refine human trapping methods. I am recycling my grandmother's vintage fur. This is the coat that I've been talking about. Looking at it from a green standpoint, fur should be acceptable to wear. In today's society, taking a green stance is very important. I have stated several points and examples and illustrate that natural fur is green. Some people in society today believe that wearing animal fur is morally unacceptable. In reality, the opposite can be proven. I challenge everyone to keep an open mind before judging someone that is wearing fur. You don't always know the history behind it. The points I've stated in regards to wearing a natural animal fur should make everyone realize that natural fur opposed to synthetic fur is the green choice. Thank you. I hope everyone has a good day.